Hi and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us on our link here for the video. My name is Brian Joyner. I am the Central Park Region Manager for Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation Department, and welcome. Our park region, a little bit about our setup. Our special events team is located out of our Central Park Region office, so they will be the ones receiving any requests or emails or questions from the general public about special events. This is our newest initiative, and this is our opportunity to sit and talk a little bit about how our new process is going to play out and how that impacts communities and neighborhoods that surround our parks and utilize our parks. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us, and we'll get started. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about our new process, our goals, our philosophy, our event planning, and a little bit of a summary to kind of wrap things up. As you can see, here is a photo of an event that's occurring on park property. So this is a fairly large event, and it looks like First Ward Park possibly. So on behalf of Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation Department, welcome all community groups and neighborhood organizations that are joining us today. Again, this is a video that is going to kind of help everyone align with our new process and new system. A little bit about the Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation Department is we break our park regions up into 3 regions: North, Central, and South. They serve as the primary point of contact for our neighborhoods and communities that are seeking to utilize our park properties and facilities for events and programs. With the help of communities and neighborhoods like yours, we will embark together on a new initiative to partner with you to provide a more streamlined and efficient process for permitting and approving small-scale events within park properties. By improving and simplifying our process and establishing community liaisons, we hope to promote better communication and strengthen our community relationships. Our primary goals are to create that more streamlined and efficient process for special event applications and approvals. A lot of folks were giving us great feedback on the length of our applications and the process that they had to go through to get approval to have an event in our parks. We'd like to also try and remove some of the insurance requirements for special events that will qualify. Also, the contract requirements for those events as well. We'd like to create a training program for communities to enhance the planning for events, partner with our communities and neighborhoods to establish event liaisons within their own organizations, provide increased opportunities for fee reductions, and ensure that events are safe and fun for all. A little bit about the philosophy. Special events rank very high among recreation opportunities sought after by Mecklenburg County residents. They vary in size and scale and type, and often activations within special events create risk, and some of those may include large crowds, alcohol exposure, amusement rides and inflatables, generators or gas-powered engines, open flames and pyrotechnics, electrical equipment and staging, commercial event tents, interactive equipment such as climbing walls, and food service. If you'll notice, there's some acronyms out to the right and some initials representing organizations that kind of oversee these. So code enforcement, Charlotte Fire Department, the Department of Labor, possibly MEC ABC and North Carolina ABC, and the Mecklenburg County Health Department may have to get involved for some of these activations to be permitted properly. Understanding that not all events will activate these risk components, the department has created a smaller classification of community-based neighborhood events. These events would be directed at the immediate community or neighborhood, less than 250 in attendance, alcohol-free, and with no high-risk activations. Some examples of these would be a movie night, a community Easter egg hunt, or community picnic. These are a couple of links we're going to revisit at the end of the presentation. One of those is from Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation Department's webpage. It actually links you right to the special events tab on there, and it will take you to all of the applications that you need, frequently asked questions, and give you the contact information you need to make contact with one of our offices. The other link is actually the City of Charlotte's webpage and it has neighborhood organizational contact lists for the Charlotte area communities. This is a very important link, and we're going to talk a lot about how to get your neighborhood and community organization registered through this link to receive important information and communication. Charlotte Water, Duke Energy, often a lot of times our partners may be conducting work through our parks or around our parks. And this is a great way for them to communicate with neighborhoods directly. It also gives us an opportunity to see what neighborhoods, communities, and organizations are already registered. So what can possibly go wrong? With event planning, they say the devil's in the details. And I always like to say there are two types of event planners, those who should be and those who shouldn't be. I think we've all had some type of experience with an event or planning or running an event where we've run into each of these individuals. So it's time for a boot camp that we can all benefit from. Step one of event planning is the concept or the idea, so to speak, the what and the why, right? An idea is born. This is the point where we start discussing the idea or a concept of an event, and it starts to grow legs and get off the ground. It's important right now to get ahead of the event date and give yourself plenty of time to plan, prepare, and secure vendors, volunteers, market, and promote your event. What's the purpose of the event? What's the goal? What are you looking to get out of it? It's important to create a proper timeline that allows for success. So the event is only as good as the planning, and if you're 2 weeks out, you're 6 weeks behind. So give yourself plenty of time to prepare, put together a team, and get out in front of the event date. It's events that typically have an idea and then an actual event date within the same couple of weeks that become problematic. The venue, the where, typically this is a park. Immediately, you need to secure the venue before you do anything else. Secure the venue by notifying Park and Recreation early so that a temporary hold can be placed on the park or the facility for you. The venue will dictate the event. So you need to see it, walk it, and inspect it. Know your space. Will this event work here? So this is something that really goes hand in hand with being familiar with the park that you're wanting to plan this event in. Never plan an event prior to having a venue. The old saying is you wouldn't make a 50-pound salad without a 50-pound salad bowl. So things to consider would be ingress and egress, how you're going to get people in and out of the park, the flow and traffic of the event, how it will lay out, what your site plan may look like. Infrastructure. Does the facility have parking, electrical, water, and restrooms available? If the event outgrows the venue, we probably need to look at another venue. The date and time, the when. Now that you have the venue, when will this need to take place? It's better at night so folks can see the light show, or is it better during the day so they can see the Easter eggs? These are things you want to consider. What type of event you're having and when is the appropriate time to have it? Think about things like 5 p.m. weekday traffic. Will that become an issue for folks trying to get to the park? Will a soccer game that's close by or the noise from that impact the guest speaker who's going to be speaking? So those are things to consider. Logistics, the how. There's always strength in numbers. You should appoint a planning committee and a leader. Some neighborhoods and community organizations may not have a lot of volunteers, but the more people you can get on board with you in the planning process, the better. Someone from the team should always be on site throughout the entirety of the event. Now that we have the what, the when, and the where, it's time for the how. How will this work? What goes where? Don't be afraid to speak up if you see a red flag, and always use your resources. The Park and Recreation Special Events team is always available to help folks with questions or concerns about events, spaces. We have a lot of collective experience in running events in the parks, and we're usually probably the best folks that know the most about them. Some impacts and challenges. Will what we are doing have a negative effect on the park, community, and neighbors? This is a question that we have to ask ourselves with every event that we're going to run. So it's important to have a great relationship with those neighbors that are immediately bordering the park properties so that they're aware. And it's a lot of times a good idea to bring them into the planning committee because they will be the most directly impacted by the event. Some common negative impacts that we see are damage to park property, lack of waste management, noise complaints, traffic disruption, logistical failures such as lack of restrooms or not enough restrooms. People's choice parking is probably my favorite. That's folks who don't find a spot and just decide that the pitcher's mound is a good place to temporarily put the car. And controlling attendance. This is a big one. You may be offering a free and open to the public event, and sometimes that goes with risks. You never know how many people may or may not show up. It's a good idea to create something like a Facebook event or Eventbrite, utilizing Eventbrite. You still can register online, but you're not charging a fee, and that allows you to cap the number and be comfortable with the event that you're having, knowing that you're only going to limit it to the first 100 or 200 people. How we get there. Keep in mind with any change, there'll be growing pains. Bear with us through this process. We'll provide training on the new process, event planning and coordination, as well as establish liaisons. The partnership. This is truly a partnership between the Park and Recreation Department and the communities looking to have events in these parks. The department and the neighborhood communities have to work together for this to be successful. And the key to it all is communication and transparency. We have to know exactly what's going on so that we can best plan for things. Sustainability is a key to this. We understand that a lot of folks may be rolling on and off of roles within your community organization, such as a social chair, for example. This individual may serve a limited term or a number of years, or maybe 1 year, and then roll off as a newly elected member may come on. It's important for the neighborhood organizations or associations to continually refresh the training and make sure that new members are coming to these videos, as well as our webpage, to stay in touch with what our process is so that we don't have to start from scratch and reinvent the wheel. I think by watching this video and becoming familiar with our process, they will know how to move things forward without any hiccups. So in summary, this initiative is designed to provide smaller neighborhoods and communities the opportunity to plan and host events on park property more frequently and without the burden of lengthy applications and insurance policies. And the purpose of the parks is for your community members to enjoy them. So really quickly, I'm going to hop over to the link here on my page and share my screen for the City of Charlotte's page. First of all, I want to kind of go to that link. That's one of the links that was back in the presentation. This is the Neighborhood Organizational Contact List, or NOCL. The City of Charlotte manages this. There's an interactive map here with a search bar, and you can actually register your community, neighborhood organization, or association through this link, CLT Community Account. So if you're not already registered, it's important to get yourself on here. So for example, if we were going to look up Sedgefield neighborhood, we put it in the search bar and click on the closest pin, and it brings up the Sedgefield Neighborhood Association with the point of contact, their position, contact information, email, phone number, etc., address. This gives you the opportunity to reach out to other neighbors around you and other communities and work through any issues that you may have, or partner up on events and programs as well. So again, this is a huge link. I would recommend that everyone double check to make sure their information is accurate. It is the individual who inputs this information into here. It's their responsibility, each neighborhood's responsibility, to keep that information up to date when changes occur. The other link that I'd like to show here is our Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation webpage. And this actually is the landing page for the main site. So we obviously have a facelift here. We've gotten a new look at our webpage. And if you scroll down, you'll actually get to the bottom where it says special events. So you can click here on special events. It will actually bring up the special events page, and down at the bottom, you can see our upcoming events that we're offering for our internal programming. So our Sundown Sounds concert series dates and locations are listed here. But at the top, we've got 4 kind of buttons for you, interactive buttons. One of them is for a quick wedding request form. We get a lot of requests about weddings, having weddings in our parks. Simple form to click on here. Let us know what you're doing, what you're looking to do in what park, and that gets out in front of it. So again, we can hold that date for you. This other tab here is for the neighborhood event form, which is really all about our presentation right now. This tab, special events and festivals, is more for private events or events that are charging, large scale festivals that may have alcohol present, things of that nature. This bottom one here is fee waiver guidelines. So Please take a look at this and see if you qualify for a fee waiver or a fee reduction based on our guidelines. A lot of nonprofit organizations that are offering free and open to the public events are eligible for those. So let's click here on the neighborhood event form. This is actually for events less than 250 people, free for the attendees, and that alcohol is not present. This is the most common neighborhood event that we see, or type of neighborhood or community event. So this is actually what our initiative kind of focuses on, is hitting these most common events. And it's a simple one-page application. All we're looking for is some event information, time, date, location, just giving us some basic information about what it is you're looking to do in the park. This is very important to get as much information up front. We know that event planning is kind of an ebb and flow. So let us know everything that you're thinking so we can kind of go through that early on and make sure that the park is a right fit for this type of event. And then there's some applicant information in here. This is a key part of it as well. We actually have to have this information to be able to input into our software system. So it requires a name, a date of birth, a street address, and things of that nature. So don't skip over this part. It's very important as well. And again, these are the neighborhood event application forms for the neighborhood community events. So these are typically without charge to the community. So these fees are typically getting waived. So there are no rental or reservation fees as long as you meet these requirements. So we think that this is going to be a positive step in the right direction for everyone, and this will assist a lot of the communities and neighborhoods to quickly get an application to us, plan a small neighborhood event under 250 people, and be able to have that event with the support of the department as well. So just to let you know about where we go from here, this link for the video will actually live on our webpage. We will make sure that it is accessible through our event page on the main tab here. We may actually have it live somewhere within the forms. It will also be saved on YouTube as well. So you'll be able to access it. And again, that sustainability of educating new folks that are coming on is key to making this successful. The more folks that you have in your organization that are familiar with how our processes work and kind of our recommendations for the timelines on things is crucial. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. And it's good. We already have working relationships with a lot of the neighborhood association members, community members, but building on that is the key and keeping it moving. So without further ado, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time, and thanks again to all the communities and neighborhoods, and we look forward to working with you.